Welcome, and thank you for joining us today for our information session on preparing for your arrival, where International Student Services will explain everything you need to know to prepare for your entry into the United States. Let us begin by introducing ourselves. My name is Kevin Guzman.
And I am Olivia Kaufman.
And we are two of your international student advisors and designated school officials. On behalf of our colleagues, we would like to welcome you all to UC Berkeley. In this presentation, we will cover the last bits of information you need to know in order to make your travels to the United States quick and easy. If you've been following us from the beginning, this is one of our last information sessions in our series, and I hope you all are as excited for your upcoming studies as we are for having you join us. As part of International Student Services, we are here to help you with your visa status, preparing and issuing your visa documents, and pairing you with your academic advisors to make sure you have an excellent experience during your stay in the U.S. We also help students with a variety of other issues, such as navigating American health insurance, providing resources for your housing search, and helping you adjust to American culture. To start things off, I'd like to give a brief overview of what we're going to talk about today. We'll start by going over how to prepare for your arrival to the U.S. and the steps you'll need to take when you do arrive. Then we'll discuss a few items you need to do after you get settled in. We will then review some of the rules and regulations regarding your F1 visa, and lastly, we'll provide a brief overview of student health insurance and how important it is to be covered during your stay in the U.S. Once we're finished, we will open it up for questions, so let's jump right in. Before you begin your travels, let's briefly review a few items you'll need to ensure that you are fully prepared for your arrival in the U.S. As you start getting ready for your trip to Berkeley, here are the different items you should be thinking about. This includes your travel documents that you should have on hand with you, your Form I-20, your contact information during your stay in Berkeley, your packing list, and information you should have prepared in order to receive your Cal 1 card. So let's dive into the documents you'll need to have handy while you're traveling. First and foremost, please make sure that you have a valid passport before departing your home country. Your passport should be valid for at least 6 months after your program completion date. Second in importance to your passport is your F1 visa, which should be valid on your date of entry to the country. Now, you might be thinking that with a passport and an F1 visa, you're ready to enter the U.S. However, this is not at all the case. The third document you need to have with you is your Form I-20. Remember from our previous information sessions that this form certifies that you have been admitted to a school in the U.S. While this may seem like a small detail, it is actually incredibly important to have the original Form I-20 with your signature at the bottom of page 1. Try to think of your F1 visa as a car and your I-20 as the key. If you don't have your Form I-20, you're going to be going nowhere fast. That being said, you may also want to have handy your I-901 SEVIS fee receipt and proof of your financial support. These financial documents do not need to be anything more than the documents that you provided when you submitted your application. Remember to keep all of the aforementioned documents with you at all times during your travel. Keep them in your backpack or carry-on luggage for easy access. Keep in mind that you may or may not be asked for these documents when entering the U.S., so present them only when requested. Let's take a closer look at the Form I-20. By now, you all should have received or are currently waiting to receive your I-20 via FedEx. The Form I-20 is the document that certifies your eligibility to study in the United States. This form contains all of the relevant information regarding your program of study, including information about the school to which you have been accepted, the length of your program, and your ability to pay for the program. On it, you can locate your SEVIS ID number in the top left and your earliest date of entry to the U.S. in the middle on the right. Your Form I-20 should be presented in its original form with the DSO signature written in blue ink. Underneath the section labeled Student Attestation should be your signature and the date on which you signed the I-20. Please do not forget to make sure that you keep with you all 3 pages of the I-20. The last bit of information you should have handy before traveling to the U.S. is the location of where you will be staying upon entry to the country. Now, the address you provide does not need to be a permanent location of where you will stay for the duration of your studies. This can be a hotel, a friend's or relative's home, or an Airbnb. Alternatively, if you do know exactly where you will be staying, just be prepared to provide that kind of information. You may also need to have a contact in the United States. If you do not have relatives or friends living in the country, feel free to provide our PDSO's contact information listed here. Lastly, if you experience an emergency while traveling to the U.S., you can reach our office at 510-409-6156. Just remember that this number is for emergencies only. The last thing I want to talk about is what to pack and what not to pack for your travels. It should go without saying that due to heightened security restrictions, it is incumbent upon all travelers to pay attention to size and weight restrictions on luggage and which items travelers are allowed to pack. That being said, we recommend to pack slightly warmer clothing. Remember that the weather in the Bay Area is very different from sunny Southern California. Winters can be cold, and our summers are a lot cooler than what you might find in Los Angeles or San Diego. When it comes to packing, please remember that most things are easy to come by in the U.S. Perhaps your most important gadget necessary when traveling would be your plug-in adapter. Aside from that, there are plenty of stores in Berkeley to get every necessity you may need once you arrive. In addition to luggage restrictions, make sure you do not carry with you any restricted items while traveling. If you require medication, we suggest that you bring enough of your prescriptions to cover at least 30 days, and it is important to keep them in their original containers. Visit help.cbp.gov for more information on what is allowed in the U.S. Lastly, be careful with the amount of electronic devices you bring with you. We recommend this so that you minimize the risk of theft, and it will make your meeting with CBP easier. We'll go into more detail on this topic later in the presentation. In the coming weeks, you will receive information on how to obtain your Cal One card. This card allows you to have access to many campus facilities such as the library, the recreational sports facility, and transit services. If you happen to lose your Cal One card, you can visit the Cal One card office in 212 Sproul Hall. There is, of course, a $35 replacement fee for lost or stolen cards, so please make sure that you take care of your card. To get your Cal One card, you will have to provide a photo that meets the parameters of the Cal One card. Be sure to upload your photo and make sure that it meets the photo requirements so that there is no delay in processing your Cal One card. As I just mentioned, more information on this topic will be coming soon, so please stay tuned. With all the pre-arrival information out of the way, let's talk about what you can expect when you touch down and reach a U.S. port of entry. Here we will explain what you'll need to know when you go through U.S. Customs, some tips on bringing your electronic devices, provide information on your I-94 arrival stamp and record, and how to avoid any delays in arriving. So, let's dig into what to expect at U.S. Customs. Once you arrive in the United States, you will need to present yourself to a Customs and Border Protection, or CBP officer. CBP is the agency responsible for protecting our country's borders, and the CBP officer is responsible for determining your admissibility to the United States. That being said, it's important to have all your required documentation to ensure that your meeting with the CBP officer goes quickly and hassle-free. Please remember to keep the following items with you at all times during your travel. You will need your passport with your F1 student visa, your Form I-20, and program acceptance letter and financial documents, just in case you're asked to present this information. Please be calm and respectful and don't overwhelm the CBP officer with your documentation. Only present these items as requested by the officer. Before you can be let into the country, you will be asked a series of questions such as what is the purpose of your visit and how long will you be staying. You may also be asked where you will be staying, so be prepared to answer those questions. Don't forget that your primary purpose is to study in the United States, and if you provide any reason other than that, you may be subjected to further questioning. In some cases, CBP may ask to search through your luggage and ask to see your electronics. CBP may go through your phone to look through your social media accounts and may even review their content. In very rare cases, CBP may keep possession of your device for further inspection. If this does happen, please be sure to get a receipt so that you can retrieve your phone. With these more thorough searches, we recommend that you check your social media accounts and remove any questionable content. It is better to travel with as few devices as possible so as to avoid having your items called out. Also, be sure that you have any important data stored to a secure cloud account so that you can access those documents in case your devices are confiscated or stolen. Once the CBP officer has determined that you are permitted to enter the United States, the officer will stamp your passport with an I-94 passport stamp. This stamp clears you for entry into the U.S. Please be aware that your stamp should clearly indicate the terms F1 and DS. These terms denote that you have been admitted under F1 status and may reside in the U.S. for the duration of your status as indicated by your Form I-20. If for some reason your I-94 stamp is incorrect, please contact International Student Services immediately so we can advise you on how to fix this issue. In conjunction with your stamp, an I-94 online record will be generated that you can use to have a formal document demonstrating your lawful entry into the U.S. You will need to upload this I-94 record to your UC Berkeley Extension account after you arrive. Inevitably, there may be some students who encounter delays during their entry to the U.S. If for any reason you are instructed to go through secondary inspection, please do not panic. Simply remain calm and cooperate with the CBP officers. It's difficult to tell for how long you may wait, but in this case, just be patient. In the event that you forget a document, you may be issued a Form I-515A, which gives you temporary entry into the U.S. for 30 days. However, this is by no means an excuse for forgetting your documentation. Ultimately, it is up to the CBP officer's discretion to issue you this form, and if you do receive one, you must contact us immediately so that we can assist you in mailing your missing documents. Additionally, missing a document is a surefire way to end up in secondary inspection. So please, remember all of your documents and your meeting with CBP will be the last hurdle in your journey to California. I will now hand it over to Olivia to talk about what you need to do after you arrive in California.
Now that you have cleared customs and you've gotten situated in your hotel or apartment, there are a few more things we need from you before you can truly settle in. This includes filling out your International Programs Registration Form and receiving your Cal 1 card. As stated in your F1 student regulations, you are required to report your arrival to your DSO. To make this quick and easy, you should take a few minutes to fill out our International Registration Form. We will provide the link in the coming weeks. With this form, you'll report the following 3 items: your local U.S. address, a copy of your F1 visa, and a copy of your I-94 online arrival record. With this link, you'll be redirected to the form where you can upload these documents. Please complete the form as soon as possible so that we can ensure to enroll you in your health insurance coverage. The last thing you will need to do once you arrive is pick up your Cal 1 card. If you followed the instructions we mentioned previously and provided a photo by the deadline, we will have your Cal 1 card available for pickup here at our office at 1995 University Avenue. As a reminder, you should also make sure that you upload your photo to receive your Cal One card. We will be giving more information on this process in the future, so please stay tuned. As we approach the end of the presentation, I just want to briefly mention some rules and regulations regarding your F1 visa. Here are 5 quick tips you should remember during your studies in the U.S. First, if you have a change in your U.S. local address, please notify ISS within 10 days of this change. We will update your CVIS record accordingly. Second, always be enrolled full-time, which means taking at least 12 units per semester. Failing to do so may jeopardize your visa status. Third, remember to have valid documents during your studies. You are responsible for maintaining your F1 status, so be sure that your I-20, passport, and visa are all valid for the duration of your program, and contact us if you believe there is an issue. Fourth, you are not allowed to work in the U.S. under your F1 visa status. While regulations allow for on-campus employment for up to 20 hours per week, you are not permitted to work off-campus in any capacity. And lastly, please remember that after your program, your 60-day grace period allows for the following 3 actions: transferring to another U.S. school, traveling throughout the U.S., and preparing to depart the U.S. If you follow all the rules under your F1 status, I assure you will have a wonderful experience here at UC Berkeley. Very quickly, allow me to finish up by mentioning a couple of things about health insurance. Let me start by saying that health insurance is very important in the U.S. Unfortunately, healthcare is not free to the general public in the U.S., which makes insurance a necessity when seeking medical attention. For reasons that extend beyond the scope of this presentation, healthcare costs a lot of money in the U.S., and even small trips to the doctor may cost quite a bit of money. Many of you will be enrolled in our Extension Health Insurance Plan. This plan covers most doctors' visits and emergencies, and covers in full for counseling and mental health. I also want to mention that this plan does not cover vision or dental, since those services are provided by the insurance companies who specialize in those 2 areas, so be aware of that. Many of you have received information about health insurance in your welcome packet, and we will be going over health insurance in more detail at orientation. But for now, just know that you're in good hands. Thank you for submitting your questions, many of which we've been able to answer during the presentation. Here are a few more that have come in. Let's start with this question: will CBP really check my social media accounts? This is a very important topic, so I'm glad you asked that question. Due to heightened security measures, it is possible for CBP to ask to look through your phone and its content. While this is not common, it is possible and legal. Ultimately, what I can recommend is that you all be good stewards of your social media content and be aware of what content is on your phone. Think of it this way: if you wouldn't show your mother that post, then you shouldn't have posted it.
Here's another question that's just come in. How do I travel to Berkeley after I have arrived in the U.S.? Well, if you have tuned in for our last few webinars, you'll know that Bay Area Rapid Transit, or BART, will be the easiest way to travel from either San Francisco International Airport or Oakland International Airport. Alternatively, you can use a rideshare app to arrive in Berkeley. If you would like more detailed instructions on how to ride BART, please feel free to send us an email.
Here's a great question. With the Extension Health Insurance, will I be able to visit any doctor in Berkeley? I'm so glad you asked that. Now, while this might seem complicated, just because you have health insurance doesn't mean you can visit any doctor you find. With an insurance plan, you will need to research which doctor's offices accept your health insurance. We will go into more detail about this during orientation, but if you ever have a question about where you can visit for medical attention, please contact us.
We have time for one more question, and here it is. What if I experience some sort of emergency during my travels to the U.S.? Thanks for asking that. In the event of a real emergency in the U.S., you should call 911 for immediate access to the police or medical help. If it is urgent but not a life-threatening emergency, call 510-409-6156, which is our ISS emergency phone line. With this line, you can contact us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we will be there to advise you. I would like to emphasize that this is strictly for emergencies only, so please keep that in mind. Well, that's all the time we have to take your questions.
But if you have any additional questions that we weren't able to answer, Here is our contact information. If you ever need to contact us or have any questions, please feel free to send us an email at extension-intl@berkeley.edu or call us at 510-642-2564. When sending us an email, please remember to include your extension ID number so that we can pull up your information quickly and provide you with an answer faster.
Once you arrive in the United States, feel free to visit our office anytime. Thank you for watching our webinar on preparing for your arrival, and we look forward to seeing you in Berkeley. Have a great day!